So in yesterday's lesson, we started with genetics and inheritance, and we used Mendel's peas as an example. So in today's lesson, we're going to apply that knowledge and write some Punnett squares of how it works in humans. Now it all starts with fertilization. Many sperm compete to enter one ovum, but only one sperm will actually enter. And when that one sperm does, its nucleus fuses with the nucleus of the ovum, producing a zygote. So fertilization produces a zygote with a unique combination of genes, half which comes from mom and half that comes from dad. Humans have about 20,000 to 25,000 different genes found on the 46 chromosomes in each cell of the body. So that means in every pair of chromosomes you have, one chromosome will come from your mom and the other will come from your dad. On this diagram, the colored sections on the chromosomes represent genes. The two red lines at the top shows genes for hair color. The green lines presents the genes for eye color, and then there's also a blue and a brown and a yellow and an orange, which are other genes. A gene is a section of DNA that codes for a specific trait, but we have a problem if we've got a pair of chromosomes with two different traits on. Imagine on the left we've got the chromosome saying have blue eyes, and on the right hand side a gene that says have brown eyes. What's the person going to have? Well, most of our genes are either dominant or recessive. Now, the word dominant means that the gene is always expressed. In other words, always visible. We see the trait in the person's body, on the outside or somewhere on the inside. Recessive genes, however, are actually hidden. We don't see them unless there's two of them together. Alright, so now you're going to take out and have a look at your inheritance exercise number 1 on monohybrid crosses. Monohybrid means that we're going to look at a cross of one trait alone. So question 1 is about brown hair and blonde hair. Okay, so let's do question 1 together. It says the allele for brown hair is dominant over the allele for blonde hair. So the trait that we're talking about here in humans is hair color. Now the text already gives you a capital B and a little b, so you don't have to check or you don't have to select your own symbols. You can use the big B and the little b. Then it says a man with brown hair marries a blonde haired woman. Now if the man has brown hair, we know that to have brown hair, which is a dominant trait, brown hair is a dominant trait, this man has two alleles that he got from one from his mommy and one from his daddy. So to have brown hair, this man either needs to have a genotype of big B, little b, or a big B, small b. In both these cases, the man would have brown hair. Because the big B makes him have brown hair, if he's got a little b, it means he's a carrier for blonde hair, but you won't see it on the inside. On the outside. So that's what his genotype would look like. However, if he marries a woman with blonde hair, the woman has blonde hair, that means that for her to be blonde, she cannot have a big B at all. So the only possible genotype for a blonde woman would be to have two little b's. Then the question continues to say that their first child has brown hair and the second has blonde hair, and you're expected to draw a Punnett square. So their one child has brown hair and the second child or another child has blonde hair. Now it's easy to know that this child, the blonde child, will also have this genetic combination. The brown hair child may be like dad, this or this. We don't know. But now, if we have to draw a Punnett square, there's our Punnett square. It's easy enough to know that the mom's gametes, all right, is going to be a little b and a little b. Because she's a blonde, there's no ways that she can have a big B. However, the dad is a little bit more complicated. We know that he has at least one big B, but we don't know if the other B is also big or is it small. We don't know that. But that's why they gave you the kids, because that's the hint. Remember the children, whatever the genotype of a child is, one of those genes had to come from mom and one had to come from dad. So if we look at this blonde child, we know that the one little bee came from mommy, obviously, because she's got two little bees. But this child had to get the other little bee from his daddy. That's how I know that in this family, the dad isn't big B, big B. The dad is big B, little b, because otherwise this blonde child wouldn't be his. So that's why I know the dad is going to be big B, little b. All right, so we say that the dad is heterozygous and the mom is homozygous, which would result in this couple having children that looks like this. There's a possibility of having a child with a big B, little b, which is a brown hair child. That one is also a brown hair child. So both of these produce kids with brown hair, and that's where this little bud comes from. But when a sperm and an ovum with the two little bees come together, we see this combination, which is child number 2. Of question 1, take specific note of the mark allocation so you know exactly where marks are given. You can pause the video here and then copy this memo down, and then what I'd like you to do once you've paused it is also try question number 2 and then continue with the video because that one's memo is given next. Pause it again, check question 2 and then do question 3 and see that you've got the memo of that one as well.